Oh, come on. Come on, you piece of junk. Come on, start, not again. Oh, let's see if the radio still works. Yeah, well, yeah, there's, oh, that show Motor Mouse is on.
And good morning and welcome to your Motor Mouse Show, your SLO County Car Talk Show, featuring Mr. Stop and Mr. Go. This is Mr. Go, Jeff Spevack, Continental Motor Works. And Mr. Stop is missing in action. Mr. Stop, if you're on your way in, come on in. Missing in action here today, but hopefully he'll show up here. So we are a live call-in car talk show. We talk about anything about cars, whether it be if you're having a concern on your car, like maybe a warning sign, a warning light on, funny noise, something not sure about your car, whether you want to keep it or sell it. We talk about all those things on the show. Or if you have a car story or a car question, a car tip, or a pet peeve about other drivers on the road, or maybe you have a relationship issue that relates to your car. So we want you to share it with us. So the phone lines are open at 805-543-8830. That's 805-543-8830. And the first caller is going to win a premium, so we'd like you to call us early in the show instead of in the last 10 minutes so we can get the ball rolling. And, of course, this show is so much more interesting when you take part in it. So please give a call, 543-8830. So, I was just looking at my forecast today, and the high is going to be 79 and the low 37. That's in San Luis Obispo City, not the whole county. So big range, 40 over 40 degrees shift, 79 to 37. So I want to talk a little bit about it being, using your headlights and perhaps making sure you have a good battery in your car and good tires and using your defroster properly. So those are things that we, especially at this season when you've got fall going into winter, we want to talk about the things that relate to your car, relating to that. And I'd like to hear about your opinions on it too, but especially, we've got dawn and dusk. Make sure you've got your headlights on. Make sure your headlights work. Make sure your headlight covers are clear. Sometimes they get cloudy and they need to be buffed. So these are all things that are things to pay attention to at this time of year. Hey, we're going to talk to Rich from Grover Beach. Good morning, Rich.
Questions. One of them was about spark plugs.
Yeah.
If you purchase them from a dealer, is it any better quality than if you go to a aftermarket store?
It's a good question. So what year and model car do you have?
96 Lincoln Town Car.
Okay, so in that case, I would like to see you put in the genuine factory plugs, which would be Motorcraft. Motorcraft right. Will be the brand. So because they do have the proper heat range for Fords. There's some Japanese cars and some other cars that you can use different kind of plugs and they work better than maybe what was originally in there. But I think for a Lincoln, you want to use the Motorcraft plug. So you can buy that spark plug from the dealer. So I would make a few phone calls. Call the dealer, find out how much a set of plugs is.
Okay.
And then call, I believe, that San Luis Auto Parts, the Napa store. And are you in San Luis Obispo?
Grover.
Oh, Grover, okay. And maybe call your Napa parts store down there and see if they're cut. I don't know if some parts stores are going to carry Motorcraft and some aren't. But I believe that San Luis Auto Parts carries Motorcraft. And then get the price from them. But make sure it's the genuine number that's supposed to be in your car.
Right.
And also plug wires. I would also use the Motorcraft spark plug wire set is very reasonably priced.
Yeah, the last time I bought plugs and wires, I did get Motorcraft, and they've lasted like 4 years already.
Yeah, worth it.
The other ones that I was getting from the aftermarket store, I'm lucky I was getting a year out of them.
Yeah, so there you go. So the proof is in the pudding. So plugs, wires, don't forget that car does have a replaceable fuel filter.
Right.
So fuel filter, air filter. Another thing that people forget about that's very important, especially when your car gets to be this age, is what's called the PCV valve.
Right.
It's just a little $5 part.
Right.
But it can make a big difference in the life of your engine, because if it gets stuck, it'll cause your engine to start using oil.
Okay.
So very important. So plugs, wires, fuel filter, air filter, PCV valve, those would be the parts that you would start with for a good tune-up.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I feel I have a problem with this car, but I use a quart of oil in a little over 1,000 miles.
Okay.
I don't know if that's normal or not.
Okay, so start with the PCV valve.
Right.
So if you're lucky, maybe it's stuck. Maybe that'll make a difference. So then let me ask you a couple questions. Do you ever see oil leaking?
No.
Okay, so you're using the oil. Okay, so here's a couple things you can do. Number one, just replace the PCV valve. Number two, look is your air filter starting to get oil in it? Okay, that would indicate that you're getting a little too much blow-by. Okay, so that's good news. Then number three, what kind of oil are you? What weight oil are you using?
What I call for
like a
5W30.
Okay, so it's time to switch then.
Oh.
So assuming that your PCV valve is not bad, I mean, look at that. You'll be able to tell it just if you can blow through it and suck through it. In other words, you take the PCV valve and you suck or blow through it, and you should hear a little valve inside of it go click, 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 click.
Right.
If that's stuck, then that may be your whole problem if it doesn't go click, 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 click.
Yeah.
But assuming that it is okay, now I would go to a 2050.
2050?
Yeah, go to a 2050 oil, and then see if that alleviates your 1 quart of oil per 1,000. Maybe it'll go 1 quart of oil per 2,000 miles.
Right. Okay.
So that's what we tend to, you can also go buy, there's a more expensive oil. You can buy what they call a high mileage blend. But basically, going to 2050 works just as well, and you can get 2050 pretty reasonably. In other words, if you get the house brand from Napa,
right,
it's a very good value, and it's probably made by Valvoline anyhow. I think it is.
Okay.
So that's a good tip for you.
I have one real quick question.
Sure.
Tire sensors, you have a sensor in the tire telling you got a low tire.
Yeah.
I got one that keeps coming on and going off. Do I have to wait until it stays on permanently in order to be able to troubleshoot it?
This is on a different car then?
Different car, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so the tire pressure's okay is what you're saying.
Right. I've checked and keep checking. I've used 3 different.
So the first thing to do would be go to your tire shop or your automotive repair shop and have them recalibrate that. So in other words, at Continental Motor Works, we have a tool that we can zero that system and then recalibrate it.
Oh.
Okay. Or at the same time, we may find and tell you, because it tests the sensors, we may tell you got a bad sensor.
Oh. Okay.
But before you just go replace them, make sure that it's not just a computerized problem or they don't just need to be reset. So so that would be the way to go. And then, it's certainly possible that you have a bad tire pressure monitor. You can live with it, as long as you know what it is. But because I think they're, by the time you spend labor and parts and everything, I think it might be $50 to $100 to replace one of them.
Right.
But it is a nice warning system to have too. So
yeah,
I do like them. So if you go to a specific place where you got your tires, they should be able to test it and recalibrate it, or your regular service center that you go to for automotive repairs should be able to do that for you too, or come down to Continental Motor Works and we can take care of that for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Rich. And you were the first caller, so stop by the shop, stop by Continental Motor Works and say you were the first caller, and we'll give you a premium.
Okay.
Have a great weekend. Thanks for being a part of the show. You. We appreciate it very much.
Have a good weekend.
All right, you too. Thank you. Okay, Rich calling from Grover Beach. Great questions. Working on his Lincoln, and figuring out what to do about it, and a few different challenges on the way. And so these are great questions. This is the Motor Mouth Show here. This is Jeff Spevack from Continental Motor Works, your Mr. Go today, and just
Mr. Stop is still not here.
He got stopped in traffic or something. Yeah. So we are, of course, available at 805-543-8830. Now, I can talk for the next hour about cars, but I just find this show so much more fun and interesting when you call, so I really urge you and invite you to call in, 805-543-8830. So talking a little bit about the challenges of this time of year where, number one, we were driving home from walking the dogs yesterday, and seemed like it was like 9 o'clock. It was 5:30. It was dark.
Know. I hate that. I hate that about the time. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, so it's this time of year here. Yeah. So remember, use your headlights. Make sure all your lights work. I like to do a walk around the car this time of year so you can, turn on your lights, turn on your turn signals, make sure all your lights are working. Look at your headlights and make sure that the lenses are not too cloudy so that you're getting good visibility. What we do at Continental Motor Works sometimes is we will buff the headlights and then put in a brighter headlight bulb for you, which I think is a great idea. If your battery is over 5 years old, it's time to replace it. This is a good time of year to replace your battery. And then you want to make sure that your cabin air filter is clean so that the air that's coming through your heater system and your defrost system is clean and you have enough flow. And don't forget that, if you wake up and your inside of your windshield is a little foggy, that you want to put on, if you don't have an automatic climate control system, you want to put on heat and air conditioning at the same time. And that's actually what dries the inside of your windshield and gives you good defrost power.
Yeah, that's interesting because sometimes I get in my car and I'll get a little bit of fog on the windshield when I first go. Yeah. And then it kind of dissipates after that.
So if you're, mine, I just push automatic and it automatically puts on the air conditioning and the heater. But on my older car, it didn't. So I had to actually manually put on air conditioning and full heat and defrost all at the same time. Oh, and then that works faster.
Wow.
So just a little tip there. That works really good. And then, of course, when you do the walk around on your car, you want to look at your tires. So
yeah, the Lincoln gauge. I was just going to ask you about that, right?
So number one, do your tires look good? You can check the pressure on them if you don't have a tire pressure monitor warning system, and you want to make sure that they have more than the tread that's needed. So you can use the Lincoln gauge, which is basically a penny, and you put the head of Lincoln in first, and you want to make sure that part of his head goes into the tread. And then that's deep enough for you. And use your judgment. Sometimes to look at your tires properly, you really got to get down on the ground and look at those inside treads. That's why we like to have you twice a year go to a shop that gets your car up in the air and looks at it, because tires don't always wear that evenly. And sometimes the inside treads get bald or lower tread and they get unsafe. And that's something you don't notice until maybe you have a blowout or something like that, which is too late. So I want to make sure you're working on that stuff. This is Jeff Spevack from Continental Motor Works. I am Mr. Motormouth here this morning till 9 a.m. And the phone lines are open at 805-543-8830. Going to go to a first break of the day here, and we'll be back, so give us a call.
Well, first off, tomorrow is Veterans Day, so we want to say thank you to everybody that served and given us the opportunities that we have here in this country. So we're going to come back with some patriotic music out of the break.
Good.
And then going into the break, we've got a classic commercial because a lot of people are going to be traveling this weekend too, although 101 may not be so fun right now if you're heading south. So maybe I can check into that, see if it's open. Maybe we can let people know.
Right.
But anyway, we got Let Hertz Put You in the Driver's Seat today.
Let Hertz put you in the driver's seat. Let Hertz take you anywhere at all.
this vacation, really let yourself go. Go Hertz Class. With a new Chevrolet or other fine car, you'll see things you've never seen before. Do things you've never done before. Hertz lets you change the pace completely. Go where you want, when you want. If you wish, take up to 20 months to pay with the new Hertz revolving credit plan. So why hold yourself back? You get a rest while Hertz does the rest.
Just let Hertz put you in the driver's seat today.
When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Here's some inside information to get your gas mileage back. Inside your engine, carbon builds up, clogging the injectors and combustion area. If you want your fuel system cleaned in just one tank of fuel, use what the inside car guys use most. It's called BG44K. In fact, service managers use it almost 3-to-1 over any other fuel system cleaner. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG.
Hi, this is Jeff Spevack, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motor Works. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motor Works at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
And of course, our salute to veterans and our respect for veterans. And so we're playing the music and we're tipping our hat and saying thanks. And we are the Motor Mouth Show here. This is Jeff Spevack, Continental Motor Works, and I'm here till 9 a.m. to talk with you about your car. We are a live call-in car talk show, and the phone lines are open at 805-543-8830. That's 543-8830. Love to have you call. You know, had Rich call from Grover Beach and talking a little bit about his cars and whatever you want to talk about, whether you want to talk about driving or cars on the road or pet peeves, or you have a question, you have a warning light on, or you just want to gab a little bit, or you got a car story, give a call. Love to hear from you. 543-8830. So, you know, of course, holiday trips now coming up. We've got Thanksgiving coming up in less than 2 weeks. And, of course, the holiday season with Christmas and Hanukkah and all kinds of holidays coming up. So it's a good time, number one, to have your car serviced. This would be the time to, whatever the mileage is, if you haven't had your car in for 6 months, then it's a good idea to take it in and have them change the oil and filter, have them inspect your whole car, of course, rotate the tires, check the tire pressures, look at the tire tread, get it up in the air so they can see if there's any warning signs. Everything looks good underneath. Check all the fluids, the coolant and the trans fluid and the brake fluid and the power steering fluid and the differential fluid. And if you have a all-wheel drive cars, then you have a few other fluids in there like the transfer case fluid and the front differential fluid. And test the battery, look at the hoses, and check all the lights and all of the good stuff that a professional automotive shop is going to do for you to give you the peace of mind to drive. Now, if you're doing this yourself, then you should be set up in your garage. You should have jack stands. You should be able to get your car up in the air. You should be able to rotate your tires. You should be able to check all of these things in a semi-professional manner and be able to test your battery. So if your battery is over 5 years old, of course, we recommend replacing it. And if your tires are getting over 5 years old, then that's the time to start looking at replacing them too. So to be able to go around, another thing you can do to prepare for a trip is really clean your car well. And don't forget about the insides of those windows. So sometimes I'll wash the inside of a customer's window and they'll go, man, what did you do to my car? Maybe their car's 5 or 10 years old and the inside of the windows have never been washed. And it's really amazing the film that can get on the inside of the windshield, especially the windshield from the plastics in the car. So that's a good thing to do. And people ask, what do you wash it with? Well, you can use Windex or you can use vinegar and water. And believe it or not, newspaper works really good to instead of a rag, because it doesn't leave the streaks and cleans everything up good, especially on the inside. So good thing to do. If you're taking that holiday trip, make sure you're safe and make sure you've checked everything, and it also just, besides your car being safe, it takes the worry out of your trip. And that if you haven't had your car serviced or you haven't checked everything yourself, you're driving and you're going, I don't remember whether I checked my tires, or I don't know whether I'm a quart or two low on oil, or I don't really know how old my battery is. And it gives you a little worrying and stress on your trip, which you don't need. So it gives you the peace of mind to drive and drive safely. So the second thing I want to talk about is driving the speed limit. So I really enjoy driving the speed limit. I know a lot of people are driving a lot faster, but number one, it's relaxing. Number two, it's safer. And you can just enjoy the ride and look around. You can look ahead. You're not in the rat race. You get yourself out of the rat race of cars. Back off a little bit, like at least 5 seconds back from that crowd of cars, and you're saving gas. You're looking ahead. You're seeing my wife and I like to count the hawks. So we do a hawk count on a trip or on a drive and see how many hawks we can, and you make it fun. So I'm going to give you the Motor Mouth Challenge. I'm going to mention this again at the end of the show. So take the Motor Mouth Challenge and drive the speed limit for 1 week. Okay. Keep 100% of your attention on the road. Stay out of the pack. Look ahead and just to see how much more you enjoy the drive when you're not thinking about everything else. You're not worried about getting ahead of the other guy. You're just out there enjoying the drive, getting into the zen of driving, and really paying attention. No cell phones, no distractions, just really paying attention to your drive. And I give you that challenge for the next week, and you'll see how much more enjoyable it is, and how much safer it is, and how much you save money. All of those things that might be in your New Year's resolutions, like living longer and saving money. Well, you get all of those things when you drive the speed limit. So I'm going to urge you to do that. By the way, phone lines are open, 805-543-8830. I'm solo on the Motor Mouth show here today. It's Mr. Go. So love to hear from you. Please call 805-543-8830 if you got a pet peeve, or you have a car question, you have a car story, or you just want to gab, want to hear about it. So I was talking to my wife a little bit today. Looks like we got a call coming in.
See that.
And she had mirror spiders. So, I've had some phone calls, people coming in, and they've had spiders inside of their side view mirrors. And then they get, you see the spider web, and you just can't quite get rid of it. Well, she did get rid of them with a high pressure hose, squirted in there, and she doesn't have mirror spiders until they come back again, of course. But so that's one way of getting rid of your mirror spiders. Now, I happen to like my mirror spiders.
Is he a friend of yours or something?
I'm just a spider fan, unless if it's a black widow. So I will kill black widows.
Yeah.
But I pretty much don't kill any other spider. I think they're pretty cool. So, I'll wipe the web off of the front of the mirror, when I want to see. But otherwise, I let my mirror spiders be. But my wife doesn't like the mirror spiders.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, let's talk to Dan in SLO. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Jeff.
Hey, Dan, thanks for calling. How are you?
Yeah, real good. A little cold this morning.
Yeah, well, I told you what the forecast was. It's 37 to 79 today, if you can believe that.
Yeah, no, cold. It's chilly. I came back in the house to have breakfast. So the question I have for you is, I bought a used Volvo. It's got the 2-liter engine. It's a newer model, probably 5 years old. And I was wondering about the motor oil. I haven't. It's been 6 months since I bought it, and I do all my own servicing usually. There's no dipstick, and how can I tell if it's got synthetic oil or the old-fashioned real stuff?
It's got no dipstick. Don't you love that? Man,
Yeah.
that just makes me mad when I open an engine compartment and there's no dipstick in there. But that's what a lot of the modern cars are doing now. In your owner's manual, you have a couple of things you can consult here, and of course, you can Google it also. But I think you're talking about a 5-year-old Volvo. Is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah, it's 4 or 5 years old.
Okay. So that will be a synthetic. You can use what we call a synthetic blend oil, and it most likely, you'll have to look on the oil cap because they switch it up now. But it could be a 530, it could be a 020, it could be a 520, 530. So on your oil cap, the oil filler cap, on a lot of these cars is where they put the oil, the weight of the oil that you're supposed to use in there. So consult the oil cap. If that doesn't have it on it, look in your owner's manual in the glove box, or just Google it. But I think it'll be a little less accurate to Google it. The parts store also should have they should be able to look it up in their manual. They'll have a chart under their lubricants, and it will tell you what to use. But I would recommend, these days, most everybody's going to what's called a synthetic blend, as opposed to a full synthetic. Full synthetic's a little more expensive, and the synthetic blends are really good.
Okay.
So to save a little money and I don't really see a big difference between it, unless if you're racing the car, or unless if you would be driving, in really extreme conditions, which you don't get here. Like, let's say you lived in Phoenix, and you had, over 100 degrees a lot of the days you're driving, or let's say you live in Montana or even Tahoe or something where you're really in freezing. When you have temperature extremes, I tend to like full synthetic oil more. In this area, I think a synthetic blend is great.
Right. Okay, I've heard of those. Yeah.
So, and you should be able to buy that from the parts store, and I even like buying their own house brand is fine, because I think it's, made by either Valvoline or somebody like that. So that's a good way to go. And then, and of course, change the oil filter at the same time. Now, what's a little tricky about that oil filter is it's a canister filter. Have you done it yet?
No, I haven't done anything. I've been putting it off.
Yeah.
But hearing your show, I'm having breakfast. I'm going, I need to do that. So maybe I'll bring it into Continental Motor Works there.
Yeah, we've got our Car Care Club, which is the two services a year plan, which is what I recommend for most people that don't put a whole lot of miles on their car. And that gets you everything. That gets you change the oil and filter with the synthetic blend oil. And, we rotate the tires. We go through and check, the lights, the brakes, the tires, the suspension, the steering, the fluids, the belts, the hoses, the battery, the filters, everything you can think of gets looked at. We wash your car. We put a sticker in it. We reset the service reminder. We say the ancient prayer over the car. All of those things that make it a really good service.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Dan, thanks for calling. It's always good to hear from you.
Right on. Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend. I think if that's the Dan, I'm sorry, I should have said Happy Veterans Day to Dan. I believe Dan is a veteran. And to all our veterans out there, we just want to wish you the best and give you a big thank you from all of us. We've had Rich call. We've had Dan call. The phone lines are open here. I'm here till 9 a.m. This is your Motor Mouth Show. We are a live call-in car talk show. And just as Rich and Dan called in about anything about your car, if you want to talk about driving, if you want to talk about newer cars, used cars, your own car, anything that's relating, funny noises, warning lights on, car stories, car questions, pet peeves, we'll deal with all of it here on the Motor Mouth Show. And the way you reach us is call us, 805-543-8830.
I got a question, actually. I've got a 05 Dodge Magnum, and once in a while, I've had this problem before, and I'm going to have my mechanic look at it again this week. The shifter, it sticks a little bit sometimes, and it's down on the floor. So
automatic transmission.
Yeah, automatic transmission.
Yeah. Now, when you say it sticks, what does that mean?
Going out of park, it wants to be hesitant, and then you stop you turn the engine off, and then you start it again. And then I usually put my foot in a little bit different place on the brake.
So it's hard to shift out of park.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Not always.
Okay.
It's just very intermittent. So
okay. So more than likely, it is the brake. So you know how you have to have your foot on the brake.
Yeah.
So what happens is you've got a couple of things that release the shifter. One of them is the ignition switch, turning the ignition switch on and trying to and having the car running once it's in that position. So it's got to get that signal from the ignition switch, which it usually does. The tricky part is you have a switch on your brake pedal that has a multi-functions. One of them is to turn your brake lights on and off when you hit your brakes, but the other one is to release that shifter and also tell the computer that you're hitting your brakes.
Yeah.
And that wears a little bit, and it has an adjustment on it.
Okay.
So a lot of times, probably 90% of the time with what you're talking about, it's either lubricate and adjust the brake light switch or replace it. Because if that's the original, your car is how old now?
05.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 13 years old. If that brake light switch never been replaced, it's probably under $20 for that switch. And so that's a good thing because it'll have a big rate of failure at this point. So I might recommend even replacing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have it checked on Wednesday.
Okay, good. So that's something out there for those of you that you get in your car, you turn it on, you start the car, you have your foot on the brake, and then you shift. And what Jim is talking about is a real common problem where it's a little harder to shift out of park. And
it's not a little harder.
Oh, okay. So sometimes you just can't do it, so you have to turn the car off and all that. I would guess that you need a brake light switch. That'd be the easiest thing it could be, and probably the most common thing it could be. And those are fairly inexpensive switch that's on the back of your brake pedal. That tends to wear out a little bit. So, or sometimes it just gets a bad connection. So sometimes they just fix it by cleaning it and adjusting it.
Yeah.
So brake light switch. Hey, let's talk to Mary in SLO. Hi, Mary.
Hello.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you very much. I was driving the speed limit the other day, and while I was doing that, I was watching other people as they come down the on-ramp to merge into traffic.
Yeah.
And I remembered a conversation you all were having, several weeks ago, about the fact that it's up to the person entering the freeway to enter, and so anyway. I got to thinking about the fact that I know more than one person who has a problem with depth perception. And I think that people that try and come in and they're very, very slow as they come down the on-ramp, that may be part of it. And I think drivers that are already on the freeway should take that into consideration and maybe allow those people a little, slow down a little bit, let them get on, because they really can't tell how fast the other cars are coming. What do you think?
I totally agree. So I think the legality of it is that, if there were an accident or there were an incident, the legality of it is that the person getting on the freeway is the one that's supposed to merge properly. But really, the logic of it is it's really not only the person coming on, but also the people on the freeway. I mean, we all have to learn to drive together. So, yes, especially where we have those real short on-ramps in San Luis, like Santa Rosa Street and Broad Street and California, and those are so short you can't get up to speed right away. And so you come on the freeway and maybe you're getting up to 45 and people are going 75, and it's a dangerous situation. It really is. So
exactly.
So I totally agree. I think when I'm driving on the freeway, I move over if I can. I don't just say, oh, yeah, it's your job. I mean, I just move over. It's just easier. But sometimes you can't move over. Sometimes you have somebody in the other lane or something like that. So then you slow down and you try to adapt for whatever's going on. And especially, you're right. You have elderly people. You have people that are more cautious or just a little more afraid or uptight or whatever you want to call it, or have the depth perception problem. And they are going to come on really slow, and it happens, and you have to adapt for them.
I agree, and I will say this. I think that the people in this area are kinder or more polite or something about moving over than, for instance, in some other places like Los Angeles and things like that. So it's a little better here.
I agree. We all need to drive together. We all need to get along. And yes, I think there's a certain zen of driving. There's a lot of things that you do automatically that you don't even think about. That when you merge into traffic, or when you when you come to one of the more challenging things is a four-way stop. And we all kind of know, okay, I get to the stop, okay, it's your turn. Usually it works out well, but sometimes you have somebody that either tries to sneak in, out of their turn, or you have somebody that doesn't stop at the stop, like you would, or whatever, and it's a little upsetting, when you see that. So there's a certain zen of driving, and yeah, I mean, I think some of the more challenging things about driving are at intersections or at freeway on-ramps or turning left into a lot of traffic. There's a lot of little complicated decisions that you're making all at once. And yeah, I think you have some marginalized drivers, whether it be a new driver, maybe somebody's in their first year of driving and they don't have the experience, or somebody's in their later years and they don't have the same faculties as far as sight or depth perception or, whatever you want to call it.
Sense of speed.
Yeah, all of those things. And, sometimes, so, we can choose to, just all get along. And I think that's what we need to do, is just all kind of get into a certain zen of driving and give people, I mean, I love to give people the right of way. I love to give, when I'm driving, because if I left early enough and I'm not in a hurry and I'm driving the speed limit, and it's nice to be, nice. And, but when you're in a hurry and you're late, you're not going to be so nice.
Well, the one thing,
so,
and we've still got the caller on the phone too. But
yeah.
The one thing I don't like about that is like somebody's at a stop sign and they're giving you the right of way to go.
Yeah.
Come on, just take your turn, because
take your turn.
Sometimes you have three cars behind you that
That's
would like
different.
to go too.
At a four-way stop, everybody needs to just take their turn. And
I agree.
And also, if you're a pedestrian, be careful, because sometimes you have I'm a pedestrian and a bicyclist a lot, and somebody will stop and wave me, but the person in the next lane isn't going to wait.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not going to go. I just wave them on. I'm going to go when I know it's right to go. Very good question, Mary.
I like your expression, the zen of driving, and I hope everybody will kind of get into that.
Well, hopefully more and more people will pick it up, and that will help. And appreciate you. Any other questions, Mary? Any other comments?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Thanks a lot for being a part of the show. Appreciate your phone call. All right, Mary and SLO. I think we're going to our second break of the day. We're the Motor Mouse. This is Jeff Spevack from Continental Motor Works. I'm here with you till 9 a.m. to talk with you about your car. The way that works is you give a call at 805-543-8830. We'll be back in a few.
And I got another classic commercial here. This is one of our favorites, actually, on the show. Dinah Shore was See the USA in Your Chevrolet. Seems appropriate for this weekend.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. America's asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all. On a highway or a road along a levee. Performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA. See it your Chevrolet.
Traveling east, traveling west, wherever you go, Chevy service is best. Southward or north, near place or far, there's a Chevrolet dealer for your Chevrolet car.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. The Rockies way out west are calling you. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA, where fields of gold and wheat fast and review. Whether traveling light or with a load that's heavy, performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA and see it in your Chevrolet.
When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Your car's fuel economy was never better than when it was new. But time and miles have robbed your car of its MPG and performance. Service managers recommend BG44K to remove carbon and restore mileage in just one tank of fuel. In fact, dealerships nationwide use BG44K almost 3-to-1 over any other product. To find a shop at BG Products, go to bgfindashop.com.
BG.
Can you imagine selling your car next week and saying to the buyer, hey, don't worry, because the engine is covered against failure for life. It's called the Lifetime Protection Plan for the Engine from BG Products. Now imagine having this huge benefit free with your next oil service when you remember these two letters, BG. BGMOA is available at over 20,000 shops nationwide. Find yours at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG.
Hi, this is Jeff Spevack, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motorworks. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motorworks at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
This is your Motor Mouth Show, your SLO County Car Talk show featuring Mr. Stop and Mr. Go. This is Jeff Spevack from Continental Motorworks, Mr. Go. And we're here to talk with you about your car here till 9 a.m. So for about another 10 minutes, you could call us at 805-543-8830. Give a call, whatever you want to talk about relating to your car. Glad to have a friendly conversation, give you help, or listen to your pearls of wisdom. So give us a call, 543-8830. We've had a chance to talk with Rich and Dan and Jim and Mary today, and we got time to talk to you. So I want to remind you of a few little tips that we always talk about on the Motor Mouth Show here. So, of course, Dan had called about using the correct oil on his car. And so remember, use what your car recommends, whether you're doing spark plugs or engine oil or setting the tire pressures. You go by your car specs. They're there for a reason. So if you're going to be using parts, get the genuine parts that are supposed to be for your car. That doesn't mean you have to go to the dealer, but at least call the dealer and find out how much it is. And if it's reasonable and within the same range as you'd be getting it at a parts store, then go for that. Otherwise, call around and see what your best value is. Don't always assume one thing or the other. And then, using the type of spark plugs that were originally, recommended for your car using the weight of oil that was originally recommended. Now, in Rich's case, he was talking about his car starting to use a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. So now we're going to make an adjustment, and we're going to go to a thicker oil. So let's talk to Ed from Pismo. Hi, Ed. Good morning.
Hi, Jeff.
How are you?
Terrific. It's good talking to you.
Good hearing from you.
Listen, I got the 430S Mercedes-Benz that you worked on.
Yeah.
And it's got about 106,000 miles on it now.
Congratulations.
And you worked on it last year. You fixed the front cluster on it, sent it to Germany, and it took about 30 days to get back.
Yeah.
And then you did a 100,000-mile checkup on it and service. And since then, the speedometer doesn't work, and the check engine light is on, and the ABS light is on. And I just wondered, am I covered?
Well, yeah, our
warranty checkup.
Our warranty is 24 months, 24,000 miles. So, you're certainly covered on anything that we did within that range of time. And so, all you got to do is give us a call at the shop and come in and we'll recheck everything and see what's up with it,
And what did you do in the 100,000-mile checkup?
Well, so
you did
I'd have to look up your, this is really a call that should be made at the shop, Ed. So why don't you call us at 541-1464, and then I can look in the computer and look up everything on your car. But you're covered, so no problem. But give us a call at the shop at 805-541-1464 and have us look it up, and then I can be much more specific with you. I really can't tell you those details without looking in the computer.
Okay, Jeff, I'll give the shop a call.
But Ed,
thanks for taking my call.
All right, have a good one, Ed. Thank you very much. Yeah, so let's see. We are the Motor Mouse, and I'm here till 9 a.m. here to talk with you. Phone lines are open at 805-541-1464. Only got about 6 minutes left here, so I just want to mention a few other of the regular Motor Mouthisms. So I said I gave you the Motor Mouth Challenge. I'd like to see you all take a week to drive the speed limit, leave early, relax, spend 100% of your attention on the drive, see how much more you enjoy that drive. Okay, and then while you're driving, stay out of the pack of cars. Be 3 seconds. The 3-second rule works on three things. Number one, you want to be 3 seconds behind the car in front of you. Number two, when you come to a stop, you want to go 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and you want to be able to look both ways, and that helps a lot. Set your tire pressures. You want to do that. One thing to be careful of, you want to set your tire pressures to what the car manufacturer says, not the tire manufacturers. So on the sidewall of the tire, they list a maximum tire pressure. That's not what you go by. You go by what it says in the pillar inside of the door panel. Like, for instance, on my car, I believe it's 32, and you can go a little higher on that, like maybe to 36, but you don't want to go up to what the max is, which is usually about 45. We do recommend downshifting. So if you're traveling over the grade or something similar, then we recommend taking it out of overdrive and going into whatever that next gear down is. Some of you might have a button on your shifter that just says overdrive on, overdrive off. So we recommend overdrive off, going up and down the grade.
I use that all the time.
Yeah.
I use that all the time. I go that when I go over the grade, and then also sometimes I'm going down to Santa Barbara. You've got that grade on one going down to Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
I love that. And then also...
saves your brakes.
And I come in on Noise Road, and I use it going up Noise Road and down Noise Road.
Good. You can use it in town, too, for those of you that want to try to slow down a little bit and drive the speed limit. When you're in overdrive, your car tends to go a little faster. If you put it in one gear down, if you want to drive 35 at the speed limit, then taking it out of overdrive helps a lot. Slows your car down a little bit, so it's a good idea. The other thing we recommend if you're looking for another car is instead of buying a brand new car, take the sticker shock off of it and buy a car that's 3 years old, 50,000 miles. You're going to get it for about half a new price. So just a few Motor Mouth tips here for you. We'll mention more of them in a later show. So I do want to go over and thank our sponsors. We have BG Products. You can look them up at bgfindashop.com. They've been a long time. Looks like we might have a call coming in. We got a long-time sponsor of the show. And such products as Fuel System Cleaner 44K, and they have synthetic transmission fluids and gear oils for your car that are really superior. So, and those are usually carried at Continental Motor Works, so we can help you with all of those. You can either look it up at bgfindashop.com or you can call Continental Motor Works at 805-541-1464. Absolute Auto. Go see Jason and Charlotte at the corner of Capitolio and Sacramento, featuring locally owned professional automotive service and repairs on your cars and trucks and even RVs. They have an alignment machine that can handle your trucks, your RVs, and they, it's good to have. If you hit a curb, or your steering wheel's not exactly straight, or your car is pulling as you drive down the road, then you probably need an alignment, and they can take care of that for you at Absolute Auto. Continental Motor Works at 1101 Laurel Lane. Our phone number is 805-541-1464. You can reach us Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, and we'll take care of your cars or SUVs or hybrids or trucks. We service it all for you. And Bike Slow County. So those of you that want to know more about bicycling, you can look up the website, Bike Slow County, teaching the kids in the schools how to ride safely. If you're an adult and you want to start riding your bike, or you want to get better and sharpen your skills, they have adult bike riding classes, advocating for better bike lanes and just a better communications between drivers and bicyclists in our county. So consult Bike Slow County for safer transportation in our county. All right. Well, I just want to thank everyone who made this show better today. Of course, Rich and Dan and Jim and Mary and Ed, who all called in and talked to us. And I want to wish you a safe week out there. Salute our veterans on Veterans Day. Pay respect and thank yous to our veterans. And, take the Motor Mouth Challenge and drive the speed limit for the next week. I want to know how it works for you. Call your Motor Mouth show next week, because we'll be back. So have a great, safe week out there. Enjoy this beautiful weather. And thanks again for being a part of the show. We'll talk to you next week.